All right, we're ready for our next bout. It's an MMA bout presented by Fracture Fightwear. It's Tim Johnson at 0-2 from Grundy County, Tennessee, taking on Julio Medina, making his MMA debut out of Winder, Georgia. To bring out our fighters back to the cage, and Jennifer Oxendine.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and jump into the MMA portion of our card tonight. We're going to kick it off with our super heavyweight division, brought to you by Fracture Fightwear. First, if you'll please welcome to the cage, Tim Johnson.
All right, first out is Tim Johnson in our first MMA bout of the night, and we go to the super heavyweights. We'll jump right in at 266 and over, 3 3-minute rounds. Tim Johnson at 0-2 in his MMA career. He is out of the Death Row MMA camp in Grundy County, Tennessee, 6 feet tall, only 19 years old. Your thoughts on Tim Johnson, Casey?
Well, the last time we saw him, he fought Gavin Walker, who is a tremendous specimen. This dude is built, dude is benching 400-some pounds, big, monstrous guy. Tim Johnson held in there, went to the decision with him. He lost it, but he proved his worth. He proved that he could fight. And, even though he's got that he's got that upside-down record. Again, it's his amateur record. He's getting experience each time he steps into the cage, and so I'm anxious to see what he brings here, because if you can't take him down and neutralize him, you better be ready to take some shots.
Tim Johnson left football for MMA much earlier than Gavin Walker did, and Tim Johnson made the switch at the age of 14 to replace football, and he's going up in weight for this fight. A real brawler, as you would expect at his size at 266, and began training under Todd Steele. Let's talk about his opponent before he comes out. Julio Peso Medina, an independent fighter out of Winder, Georgia, the 25-year-old at 5'7". Medina, he weighed in at 267, 20 pounds heavier than Tim Johnson, and Medina will have the size advantage. What do you think of the super heavyweights of 20-pound advantage?
Oh, I love the super heavyweights. I love big dudes that throw big leather. I'm excited for it.
We'll talk more about Medina in a moment. Back to Jennifer Oxendine.
And his opponent, please welcome to the cage, Julio Medina.
So Julio Medina coming out. You were saying, Casey, about the
with Julio Medina, we don't really know what's up with him. He's an independent fighter, so you can't really to see how he's been groomed for the fight. And he's never fought before, so we can't look back on any footage and know. So this is it's a shot in the dark. So in this case, I'd have to go with who I know is a tough guy, in Tim Johnson, even though he does have some holes in his game. He does have that, some holes on the ground. But, man, if you get right up in his face, he's going to throw for the fences.
Take a look at the tail of the tape. 0-2 Tim Johnson, Julio Medina making his debut. Medina 6 years older than Johnson. And look at the height-weight combo of Medina.
So you got Medina, he's got the advantage in the weight, but he's drastically got at the disadvantage on the height. So, I'm anxious to see, if the weight puts a little bit more punch on his punch and his kick, and if Tim Johnson is able to find a better range because of his height advantage.
Very intriguing height weight between the two. Medina 5'7", 267. You don't see that combo very much. Should be fun tonight in our first MMA bout. This is amateur. We'll have some amateur MMA bouts, and then a little bit later on tonight.
You remember Johnny Carson? Years ago? Remember he used to put that thing on his head? He would make a prophecy.
Yes.
He would prophesize what's going to happen. I'm going to make a prophecy here. I'm going to say this fight's going to consist of big overhand rights and big left hooks, and we're going to see him bouncing off of these cage walls, hopefully not into us, not through the cage on top of us. But like I said, I get real excited when the super heavyweights come to bang.
Is that what's in your envelope, Casey, that you used to rip open
exactly.
to verify it? All right, back to the cage.
I did not know that. Weird.
Jennifer Oxendine.
This bout is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. First, fighting out of the Hogs red corner, he weighed in at 247 pounds with a record of 0 wins and 2 defeats, representing Death Row MMA in Grundy County, Tennessee, Tim Johnson. And his opponent, Out of the OEB blue corner, he weighed in at 267 pounds and is an independent fighter out of Widener, Georgia, making his MMA debut. Put your hands together for Julio Peso Medina. Your referee for this fight is Josh Ward.
Josh Ward, our referee in this third bout presented by Fracture Fightwear. It's Tim Johnson in the camouflage and pink combo taking on Julio Medina in the dark green and black. Josh Ward points to both fighters, asks them if they're ready.
Here we go. Look at this.
Medina
Big
down.
kick by Johnson. Throwing for the fences here.
Can Medina hang on here? Wild exchange between the two super heavyweights.
What's the deal with the back of the hair there of Tim Johnson? I thought he had caught a shot to the back of the head or something, but I think that's his hair.
Yeah, I think it's with the trunks with the pink.
Yeah.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Ah, I see. Well, props to him for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, heavy hands for both.
Uh-huh. And look at that cage just rattle back and forth as these two guys hit it.
We may be at risk here, cage side.
Yep, that's worth the risk. Come on.
Absolutely.
Here we go, Tim Johnson pushing forward. That's the one thing, man. We know he can go 3 strong and push forward. Now that first burst is over with. Now we're going to see the skill of both Tim Johnson and Julio Medina.
And Casey, you can see both fighters marked up a little bit. Red spots. Oh,
spinning
kick.
back fist. But Tim Johnson hits the ground for his effort.
On the attack is Medina. Johnson tried to kick Medina off.
Yeah, Johnson's got to watch those up kicks while Medina is so low. He's got that low center of gravity. He catches one to the face while Medina is down, and that's going to be a foul.
3 3-minute rounds. We're halfway through round number 1.
2 nice shots there by Medina. Medina continues to rack them up. Don't appear to do too much damage, however.
What'd you think of Medina letting Johnson back up?
That's one thing. When you got a super heavyweight on his back, it's typically difficult for him to get back up. You want to take full advantage of it. But Medina, I think, is holding his own here. He's landed a few good shots to be a debut. He's doing well, especially as an independent fighter. Tim Johnson seems to be slowing down a little bit. His hands by his waist here.
A smile from Medina. Hands are up. Johnson walking in and
there we go. Those are big shots there by Medina.
Johnson straight up, but with the hands down.
Oh, another big right hand. And he's calling us in the throat. What we got here?
And Josh Ward is stopping this fight. And I think they're going to say he took it in the throat. Immediately, Johnson grabbed his throat.
Yeah. We'll have to take a look at that instant replay and find out for sure here.
And this fight is over now. What will it be? What's it called? Is it going to be a no contest? Let's take a look at the replay here.
All right. It was right there on the chin, but it could have grazed his throat. I definitely don't see it as a foul.
Right.
It looks like Tim Johnson, he seemed to be cooling off a little bit. He turned and waved his hands off.
Well, that would be tough if Medina, if it's called a foul. And
because it looked like it was right on the chin.
And Johnson moved. He kicked his head and neck back and sort of opened his neck up.
Yeah. And that's the thing, if the strike starts fair, then it's his own fault if he moves into a foul position, So.
But it is still the judge's discretion on that.
The referee's discretion.
The referees, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. All right, let's go back to the cage. Our official decision announcement. Here's Jennifer Oxendine.
Your referee stops this fight at 2 minutes and 22 seconds into the first round due to verbal submission. For your winner, Julio Peso Medina.